You are listening to The Nostromo Rule, an original one-act play written by Malt Schlitzman and starring
Teen Witch as Angelique.
Fleeta McGurn as Kay.
Ian Helm as Bryce.
In the distant space year of XT9, commerce flourishes under the Pax Stellaria, a universal peace treaty maintained by the Confederated Confederation of Planets. Opposing them are the bloodthirsty pirates, an ungovernable assortment of lawbreakers and thieves whose short and brutal lives are circled around with grog and plunder. Only the noble Star Force stands between civilians and... Angelique flips a switch.
Aw, I like that show.
I'm in no mood for documentaries. We've dropped out of hyper, but the engines are reading green. Bryce, you've got the engineering readout. Did the shields overheat?
Negative, Captain. Proximity sensors picked up an obstruction. Looks like a derelict warship. Too big to route around. We'd have crashed into it.
Or our wake would have shredded it into a debris field big enough to choke out all travel through the sector. Can't remember ever seeing one this big before.
Audible beeping. Kay flips a switch.
Oh wow, I didn't think that thing actually worked.
What's up, Science Officer?
Life Alert detected something on the ship.
That shouldn't be possible. I checked the registry. This thing is so old it's not showing up on any of the flight logs. Bryce, can you zoom in on the registration code?
At this point, a fourth video comes on screen depicting an exterior shot of the ship, which is a papier-mâché model that slightly resembles the Enterprise Class D, except built upside down in the dark. This is a hilarious visual gag, as well as a reference to deep-cut Trek lore that purists will appreciate, and at the conclusion of the show, the model will be physically crushed by stagehand on screen, to the delight and amusement of all.
I've never seen this design before. It's absurd. Notice how the engine nacelles seem to be separate from the body of the ship itself? Who'd do something so... here, I found the registry code. It's NCC 1134.
It looks like hell. That's, ominous. Right? Hell? No, just me? Great.
The Confederation has never used NCC. What would that even stand for? NATO Captain's Club?
This must be pre-unification wars, but the Rebels never had ships this big, and it's way too far from Earth to have been part of Central Command.
Gotta be privateers. Maybe someone bought or stole it before the Confederation melted down all the big guns and instituted Pax Stellaria. Scrappers haven't stripped out any of the critical systems, so there's a lot of money floating out there. How much cargo space do we even have?
Most of it. Only thing we've got down there is that mysterious cryo coffin we've been paid handsomely not to think about.
Bryce and Kay turn to look at Angelique, who rolls her eyes.
Don't get your hopes up. I've held cryo-coffins before, and the stories are never as interesting as you want them to be.
It's a two-person cryo coffin. Of course it's gonna be interesting.
Trust me, I've been in this exact position before. You'll think it'll be a pair of star-crossed lovers from rival kingdoms trying to escape their arranged marriages and start anew on some alien world where no one knows of the war between their families. But it's always some jackass duet trying to jump parole.
I thought we had a cage of carnivorous Furbies down there? The ones we were supposed to deliver to space prison?
Oh, they escaped.
Okay? I specifically asked you not to.
It's fine. I promise there's no cause for alarm. I put knives on some Roombas and released them into the ventilation ducts. The generations of class antagonism between Roombas and Furbies will prevent them from ever uniting against us.
Well, there's a terrifying thought. Let's move on immediately. We're still a half cycle ahead of schedule, even with the interruption. Are you all thinking what I'm thinking?
A mysteriously intact ancient ship floating derelict in an abandoned sector of space.
Faint life science despite no life support systems.
Ship's haunted. We're blowing it up.
Well, wait. There could be plenty of other reasons why pirates wouldn't have seized this giant warship and tried to get it working the minute they saw it. Maybe they, respected the dead?
Maybe they're just waiting outside of scanner range to pounce on us the minute we disembark. Maybe they've rigged the antique warp core to explode.
Preposterous. There's a much more likely explanation for what we're witnessing here.
Which is?
That's an alien life form, and this is a first contact scenario!
No.
No.
So so much time in space, and I haven't encountered one unknown species.
Hey, chin up, buddy. What about that weird algae you found on Titan?
You mean the frozen booger?
The man who sneezed that was not healthy.
Well, nobody told me that part. Or I made myself forget it. Either way, making myself forget it again. Hey, maybe there's some kind of regulation on weird freaky ships. Could we try following the rules for once?
Angelique pulls out a large, battered metal box, similar to an old-fashioned first aid kit. It is full of pamphlets.
What to expect when you're expecting mutiny? Why is this the first one in the box?
Kay and Bryce shrug innocently.
So you've heard whispers of mutiny, so you fear mutiny is imminent, and the follow-up to that being, so your mutinous crew has left you stranded on an asteroid, so your oxygen generator is making a clink-clank sound?
Oh, actually, could you pass me that one?
Bryce and Angelique turn to look at her.
It's nothing like bad, but preventative maintenance is, you know.
Angelique's expression is unreadable.
Oxygen, the stuff I do my breathing with.
If it was critical, I would have said something. See, this is why I didn't tell you about the Furby thing. You get so tense over the tiniest.
The computer beeps. Angelique is rifling through the pamphlets.
I know the Pax Stellaria made all the computers switch to beep code because there are too many people abusing the databanks to get into adventures, but man, I would have loved to work on a ship with a talking computer.
Angelique picks up an additional pamphlet.
Woo! So you've encountered a derelict vessel with faint signs of life.
That seems questionably specific.
Step 1. Blow it up.
That's it?
Yep. No debating a direct order. You heard the pamphlet.
Angelique seizes the control and begins flipping switches. Something starts to hum.
Wait, I'm concerned about the potentially valuable first contact situation we're wasting here.
So you're about to blow up an abandoned spaceship with faint signs of life, but your science officer is concerned about the potentially valuable first contact situation you're wasting.
Well, now I just feel patronized.
Step 1. Pat your science officer comfortingly on the head. Step 2. Blow it up.
It's just like the Confederation to tell us to blow something up and take all cool weapons away. What do we even have? Ion stunners? Tanglefoot array? Oh, cool, water harvester. I'm like a declawed kitten over here.
Bryce bips and bops at his control panel.
Beep boop.
Exactly. How are we gonna blow it up with non-lethal weapons?
Send the iron pulse into the dark matter cells, melt the restrictor coils, trigger an unstoppable chain reaction that fuses the entire ship into an ultra-dense singularity about the size of a kiwi. Just like we used to do to pirates when I was in the Star Force.
Oh, that's so much worse than just exploding.
Look at it this way. Implosions don't leave debris fields. Really is the eco-conscious solution.
Ion capacitors are loaded. Captain, you may fire when ready.
Angelique leans forward and aims her weapons.
Oh!
Kay crosses her arms, turns away, and pouts. Angelique pauses. Bryce has picked up the concerned about the potentially valuable first contact pamphlet and is reading the back. Angelique sighs and sits back heavily.
Okay, Professor, Doctor. Look, I promise you once we finish this delivery, we'll take as long as you like and we'll go xenoprospecting for biological specimens.
Why? So you could blow them up too?
Hey, listen, there's a step 3 in here.
What, more head pads? Is it more head pads?
Should your science officer demand further explanation, read the following out loud. When humanity first started to dwell amongst the stars, it was discovered that derelict ships bearing faint signs of life universally harbored extremely dangerous parasitic alien life forms. This phenomenon was dubbed the Nostromo Rule. Pax Stellaria was developed in part to stop these monsters from ever being weaponized and turned against an unwitting universe. In order to prevent the digestion of all human life, you are charged with the sacred duty of reducing these threats into a fine vapor by whatever means necessary. Should you disregard these instructions, know that these creatures will suck out your brains, stuff your chest cavity with glistening eggs, and glue you to the wall with butt spit. Also, it has acid for blood.
My brains? The stuff I do my thinking with?
They named a rule after this exact situation. Shep, how many times has humanity almost been devoured by alien parasites?
The ship beeps incomprehensibly. Bryce's expression does not change.
Fascinating. I still have no idea how to speak beep code.
Well, if there's a rule, I guess they can't arrest us for obeying it. Plus, in xenobiology school, we were encouraged not to accidentally unleash any uncontrollable alien parasites upon an unwitting public, so...
What about intentionally unleashing controlled one?
Kay is silent. Angelique turns to her.
Kay? Kay?
Captain, you may fire when ready.
Y'all are terrifying, and from now on, I'm sleeping in the pantry with a locking door. Ship, do the dang thing.
The ship beeps. There is a laser noise. Then a horrible metallic screeching and crumpling. Bryce is horrified. Kay is delighted. Their faces remain unmoving for some time after the noise stops. Bryce is shaken to his core, suddenly terrified of the power inherent in weapons he thought useless. He is suddenly, undeniably aware of the immense destructive power he wields.
Whew, that was like watching a newborn foal climb back into its mother's womb. You did that with an ion stunner?
Yeah, you know these people use that tech for air purification.
Oh, it's purified all right. That kiwi root is basically composed entirely of dark matter at this point. It's unrefined, but could we use it in our engines? By my calculations, it'd keep us burning for another pentacycle easily.
You're not worried about what would happen to an engine that burns fuel haunted by an alien ghost?
Everyone is silent for a moment. Kay begins shuffling through the pamphlets.
So your engine is haunted by a burned alien ghost. A newbie's introduction to Dianetics.
Finale! Yay!
Okay.
This is just one scene from a longer work designed to be performed remotely. If you are an established theatrical or performance group and you'd like to get involved, please contact me at maltpoet@gmail.com. That's maltpoet@gmail.com, all one word. I'd like to thank my performers and you, the audience. Have a stellar day.